In the absence of industry standards is the question, although I don't think they mean that because we have an industry, well, we have industry standards in some places. So perhaps better to phrase it, in the absence of industry standards being adopted, they say, surely private enterprises will jump in and take its place. So what are the panelists' thoughts on things like DAX, Place Exchange, View, and one for you, Adam, Broadsign Reach? Surely private enterprise will push their own standards? Adam, maybe you should start with that question.
Yeah, I think that's not atypical, that you see private companies sort of getting out ahead of the standards and innovating. Like, that's their role, and their clients are pushing them, and they're pushing their clients. And I don't think that's a problem. And when we talk about the absence of an industry standard, within the programmatic world, the standard is OpenRTB. It's widely adopted, but it's often looser than people imagine, right? It's like the pirate code. They're more like guidelines. And so you do see innovation and adoption of only parts of the standard and not other parts. I think where it becomes important is where those standards govern interoperability of systems. And that's where you do need standardization. It's okay to go and innovate on something that is unique to your system, but as soon as it involves your system talking to someone else's system, you do need standardization. And the standards bodies need a really strong process to identify those places of interoperability, to see where innovation has potentially led to something better, codify it, and then maintain it. And if they don't do that, in the absence of a standards body successfully doing that, private enterprise actually can do it themselves. And we're actually seeing that right now in our space, a collaboration between ourselves, Place Exchange, Trade Desk, Vistar, and Verizon on venue naming taxonomy. So this speaks to the deficiency that Tim noted in his slides with OpenRTB and discoverability. Everybody was using a different standard to name things. So if we have one standard venue naming taxonomy, it's much easier for a buyer to find what they're looking for. Ultimately, we plan to hand that off to an open source project managed by an industry body. And there's lots more work like that coming down the pipe.
Tim, have you seen examples of that from your standards work?
Well, when there isn't standards, as Adam said, you need to create them. And if private sector creates the standards, well, of course, they've got to realize some value for them. And I think Adam quite rightly points out the value is that if we make this easy for everyone, we're going to attract new investment into the industry.